here we gather, gathering here in this beloved community, united through all our diversity, united in one strong body. This is no fiction or illusion. This is no turn of phrase. It is the truth. Here we are many, yet we are one. We are rich in diversity of experience, of age and culture, race and gender, belief and call. When we gather in a spirit of listening, a spirit of readiness to be touched by one another's truth, then we are one. And we are no strangers to struggle. We know at times this journey is hard, the path rocky, and not always of our choosing. Yet we also know that in the struggle there is power. In our faithful struggle to practice truth and love one another and serve the world, there is power. The power to touch lives for good. The power to open our hearts and welcome the Spirit, which is always ready to embrace us and fill us and guide us. So Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near. Today we begin with a reading from the Hebrew Scriptures, one of the many stories in the book of Genesis about Jacob. Jacob, who was the grandson of Abraham and Sarah. Now, in this story that you're about to hear, Jacob has been away from home for many, many years. And now he is happy to be returning home, but he's also terrified of meeting his brother Esau, because years ago he stole his brother's inheritance. As the story begins, Jacob knows that he's about to meet his brother the very next day, and he expects his brother is going to be very angry with him. We're going to hear this story in the Tanakh translation. That same night, he arose, and taking his 2 wives, his 2 maidservants, and his 11 children, he crossed the ford of the Jabbok. After taking them across the stream, he sent across all his possessions.
Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. When he saw that he had not prevailed against him, he wrenched Jacob's hip at the socket, so that the socket of his hip was strained as he wrestled with him.
Then he said, "Let me go, for dawn is breaking."
But Jacob answered, "I will not let you go unless you bless me."
Said the other, "What is your name?"
He replied, "Jacob."
Said he, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with beings divine and human, and you have prevailed."
Jacob asked, "Pray, tell me your name."
But he said, "You must not ask my name." And he took leave of him there.
So Jacob named the place Peniel, meaning, "I have seen a divine being face to face, yet my life has been preserved." The sun rose upon him as he passed Peniel, limping on his hip.
Looking up, Jacob saw Esau coming, accompanied by 400 men. He himself went on ahead and bowed low to the ground 7 times until he was near his brother. Esau ran to greet him. He embraced him, and falling on his neck, he kissed him, and they wept. Let's return now to the story of Jacob wrestling. Who is he wrestling with, and what message might there be in this ancient story for each of us today? To really think that through, we have to know some backstory behind the story that Carolyn and I shared with you. Because as we learn in the book of Genesis, Jacob has had a very complicated past. So let me try to fill you in a concise way here. Jacob is the son of Rebekah and Isaac, and the grandson of Abraham and Sarah. Big names all in the Bible. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't, but they're big names. And Jacob, the other thing you need to know is that Jacob is one of 2 children. He is a twin. He is the younger brother of his twin, Esau. And as a young man, Jacob did something really terrible to his brother. The story goes that Isaac, Jacob and Esau's father, was dying. And Isaac had always loved his son Esau more than his son Jacob. Esau was his favorite. And Isaac wanted to bless Esau before he died. Already, I'm starting to feel like maybe family therapy would have been good for these folks, but that was not available to them. So, okay, the blessing that he wanted to give to Esau, this was not just a simple, like, bless you, my son. This blessing was, in fact, the equivalent of a will, effective immediately, that basically would give Esau everything that Isaac had and also put him in charge so that everybody in the family would have to obey him. This is what Isaac wanted to do for his elder son, Esau. Now, the story tells us also that the kid's mom, Rebekah, had always loved her clever younger son, Jacob, more than her older son, Esau, who was more of a kind of a steady, straight ahead kind of person. And so Rebekah coaches Jacob on how to trick his father, Isaac, into giving him the blessing/will instead of his brother Esau. And Jacob goes along with it. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is really something, right? It sounds like Jerry Springer, honestly. But this is what happened. This is what happened. The trick works. Jacob gets the blessing from his father under false pretenses. He pretends to be his twin brother, and it's complicated, but it works out. And by the time Isaac figures out that Jacob has tricked him, it's too late because he has already spoken the words and they cannot be taken back. That's the rule in their culture. So Isaac, of course, is furious. Esau, Jacob's brother, is furious. And Esau, in fact, is so angry, he threatens to kill his brother. So Jacob runs away. And he stays away for 20 years. This is just the backstory, people, but this is really what you need to know. So, family cutoffs, all sorts of complication. The story of what happens in between in those 20 years after Jacob runs away is another really, really long story for another day. The very, very short version is, I swear this is the short version. So first of all, he meets and falls in love with his mom's cousin, Rachel. But then he gets tricked into marrying Rachel's sister, Leah, before he gets to marry the woman he really wanted to marry. So that's how he has 2 wives. Really long story. By the way, the novel The Red Tent tells this story it just phenomenally. It's a contemporary novel. Highly recommend The Red Tent. But today, I invite you to imagine with me how it would feel to be Jacob 20 years after you've stolen your brother's blessing, knowing you have betrayed your brother, knowing your brother was so angry at you, he actually wanted to kill you, and knowing that he actually had a right to be that angry. And it's been years, and you haven't seen your brother in all that time because you have stayed away. You've been traveling on a long, long journey, but now you're getting older, and you miss home. You miss your home, you miss your family. But how can you go back? Because that angry brother is still there, waiting. You've avoided him for 20 years, but he's still there. And so when you finally turn your face toward home, you are afraid of what you have to face. And I wonder if you can identify at all with Jacob and how he might be feeling in that moment. Maybe there's something that you've been running away from, something you've been avoiding, trying to work up the courage to face. Yeah. And in addition to whatever personal echoes you may or may not be experiencing right now, we can also hear echoes of our national, our collective history in the story of Jacob and Esau. Imagine this story as an allegory, bigger than the story of just one individual family. I'm sitting with this image of one sibling stealing another's blessing, and wow, am I hearing some echoes of our national story, a story that is so beautiful in so many ways, but a story also that tells of oppression as its almost founding action, going back generations, dominant groups stealing from other groups over and over again, stealing the blessing that belongs to everyone. I'm hearing some echoes. And right now, are we not watching that old story activate itself yet again in real time as billionaires with far more wealth than they could ever need are stealing the blessing of economic security from almost everybody else? That's happening right now. As brown and black and even Native American people are being thrown into black box detention centers because supposedly only white people, white men, are allowed to enjoy the blessings of liberty and equality that have been promised to us all. That is happening right now. And yet, even now, so many of us are hearing a different call. A call to turn our collective face toward our hard and painful history as a nation, to tell the truth about what's happening, what's been happening, to make right the wrongs that have been done, so that the larger family of our nation can be reunited in a way that has never been, but yet might be. Jacob and his family decide to return to Jacob's original home. They decide to leave where they have been so that Jacob can finally go home. But Jacob is really afraid of what his brother Esau will do to him when they finally meet. And so when they get pretty close, Jacob sends out messengers to find his brother and let Esau know he's on the way. And he coaches them. This is a wild part too. He coaches these messengers that are going out to look for his brother to say basically like, please, please, please be nice to Jacob when you meet him. Please don't kill him. Please don't kill us. Please don't kill anybody. So this is what he tells the messengers to say. And the messengers go on ahead, they fan out, they come back, and they say, hey, Jacob, your brother Esau is coming to meet you, and he's bringing 400 men. So now Jacob is super scared. He thinks that Esau is probably out to kill him and all his family in revenge. So, okay. Jacob sends the messengers back out ahead, and this time he sends them out with a big flock of farm animals, because in addition, he's been a shepherd for like a gazillion years, and he's got a ton of sheep. So he goes and sends the messengers out with all these farm animals and says, okay, tell my brother that I'm really, really rich now, and I'm sending him all these goats and sheep and camels and cows and donkeys as a present. So maybe he'll forgive me. How about that? How about that? Basically, having cheated his brother 20 years ago, now Jacob plans to bribe him. It's so human, isn't it? This is like such a human thing. And also so ignorant of what real repentance might look like. The night before they all meet up with Esau, Jacob spends the night completely alone. One of those moments where it feels like the right thing to do, so he goes off alone. And then the story takes this super weird turn. It says he's all alone. And now the story says, a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. This is like, what? Where'd this guy come from? Who is this man? What's going on? The story says they wrestled all night long. And clearly here, we are actually shifting into another kind of story reality. We've been in a sort of realistic storytelling mode where we can imagine real people being in this kind of situation. But now, without warning, we have crossed over into the land of myth or maybe dream. Jacob wrestles with this mysterious man all night long. Dawn comes. And again, we know that we are in this sort of weird space of myth or dream, because with the coming of the dawn, the mysterious man has to go, just like the supernatural figures of ancient legends. It is a sign for those who were originally hearing the story that this mysterious man is a messenger from God. Jacob knows it too. This is a messenger from God. But Jacob still holds on to this man. He hangs in there. And now the man who has to depart wrenches his hip, like really hard, and it hurts. But still, Jacob will not let go. And he says, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Unless you bless me. And after all this wrestling, all night long, pain, struggle, Jacob gets this blessing that he has earned. Only this blessing is not about money, it's not about property, it's not about controlling anybody else. It's a new identity. The mysterious man gives Jacob a new name that means one who has wrestled and prevailed. So I invite you to take just a moment to sit with Jacob's story in silence and ask yourself, where in my life am I wrestling? Let's just take a moment, see what comes to mind. What if you too could ask for a blessing? That was amazing. I love that just happened. Woo. What if you could just say to whatever it is that you are wrestling with, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Could there be a blessing waiting for you right now? So many of us are wrestling, I know it right now, with really hard things. Some of us wrestling with fear about something we need to do, and it's scary and it's going to take courage. Some of us are wrestling with challenging relationships, maybe with kids, parents, friends, loved ones. Some of us are wrestling with illness or the loss of abilities. Some of us trying to get well. Some of us are wrestling with addictions in our own life or in the life of someone we know. Some of us are wrestling with grief, facing our losses and just trying to live into what comes next. Some of us are wrestling with financial challenges, debt, or the loss of income, or a job that just does not pay the bills. And all of us are wrestling with the giants of fascism, racism, economic inequality, gender discrimination, and so many vast forces that hold sway over all our lives. What if we could stay with it, keep wrestling, and believe that there is a blessing waiting for us on the far side? Jacob walks away from that wrestling. He is limping. He has been wounded for life, but also blessed. And what happens next? Thanks. We're just going to pause. Thank you. Active folks today. Thank you. What happens next in Jacob's story makes me think that what Jacob was really wrestling with was his own history, his own fear, his own shame and defensiveness as he prepared to meet this brother that he had wronged. Jacob crosses that river, and he sees his brother Esau coming. And then comes the second blessing, or maybe it's just the culmination of the first. The brother whose anger he had feared so much for so long is not actually angry at all. He is overjoyed to see his long-lost brother. Overjoyed. Esau runs toward Jacob and embraces him. The two brothers are weeping. Tears are just pouring down their cheeks. And Jacob tells him, seeing his face like this, his long-lost brother's face, is like seeing the face of God. So when things are hard, when life is painful and messy and scary and hard, may we stay in it long enough to find a blessing of transformation, hope, and new life, a blessing in our wrestling, even now. Even now. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be.